This is a stump that's up against a wall. Um, Guy gave us permission to actually go up, and if I needed to scrape the wall, he didn't care, but I wouldn't recommend doing that for a number of reasons. One, it's not good for the machine. Two, unless you have it in writing and maybe some other legal form, I really wouldn't do it because they can come back later and say something about, you scraped my wall, you did this, whatever. Um, and there was actually a live business behind this wall. I think it was a pawn shop or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, the guy that hired me for this, he's like, I don't really care. I want to have it patched or fixed or painted or something. I can't remember what the whole thing was but I kept telling him, I said, look, I can get really close, but that's all I can do. And that's going to be about 95% of the stump. Now the machine swings in an arc. So as the machine gets closer and closer to the wall, the very center of that arc, right about where the machine is there, is the closest part to the wall. That's what I have to keep track of. So the machine is new enough and it's accurate enough where I can literally move a quarter of an inch at a time if I need to, even smaller amounts if I slow it down or change the hydraulic settings. But you get in there, I can stand right up against that wall. In fact, I was leaning on the wall part of this job, just getting as close to it as I could. You'll see here towards the end. Um, but I'll cut this. We're taking it as deep as I possibly can. There is cement. The machine's actually sitting on cement right now, so I wasn't sure how far over it went. There were a couple spots where I ran into cement. It's terrible for the teeth. I probably say this in every single video. There's garbage and so much stuff, so much that destroys it, and you can ruin $300 worth of cutter teeth in a half a second. There's no avoiding anything. It's like, sometimes people say, well, there's a pipe under there. If you feel like you're hitting it or something, just stop. And I'm like, well, you don't just feel like you're hitting it. You either hit it and destroy it or you don't. There's no halfways. So as we're getting closer and closer to this wall, I'll eventually get to within almost, I don't know, a half inch from the wall. And not only does this thing swing in an arc, but you'll notice as it's up in the air, um, it's closer to the wall than as it is moving down the stump. So the bottom part of the stump that's already cut is about 7 or 8 inches from the wall, and the top part is probably only 3 or 4 inches from the wall at this point. So as I get down to the bottom, I won't go all the way back up to the top. I'll just cut as much of the bottom as I can. Here in a moment, I'll move the machine over again because of the arc motion. So the closest part of it is the center part of the machine. So I'll move the whole machine over 6, 8 inches and then get close to the wall again at the peak of the arc or the zenith and do as much as I can there. And then I'll move over another 8 inches and then another 8 inches, then another 8 inches so that I'm not taking any chance at all on hitting something that I don't want to hit. For obvious reasons. And I don't know if you see it, but there is a gas meter in the very corner of this. I'm sure it'll show up somewhere in this video. Um, and I'm like, I don't want to go too deep because codes change from year to year, city to city, maybe even for commercial and residential. I'm not sure how that works entirely. Okay, you can see here where I've moved over. At some point in time, I'm actually standing behind this machine in between the meter and the root that's going out left. Because that wall is there, the roots didn't have much choice. They had to either go left of the stump or right of the stump because where the machine's sitting is more cement, so there's really no nutrition that it can seek out there. I mean, it can go up under it and push cement up. I've seen it in a lot of driveways, but this particular tree didn't do that. Um, This one had two very thick leg-sized roots going left and right. It was very stringy wood. I don't even know what kind of wood this was. Tree. You can see where I'm slowing down here in places. It's like the wood is harder or stringier or somehow more dense in places. I have to slow down. This is in a sped up process, and usually when it's, at normal speed, when I'm watching it or doing the job, I can hear the engine slowing down or speeding up, and I want to keep the engine at optimal speed. It's just like if you're running a chainsaw, you want to keep that top speed running so you have your optimal power going through the wood. And again, these things grow with rings. If you're looking at the side of the stump, it's literally like peeling it. It's hard to describe it. If you look at an onion and you see how it's sliced one way or another, you can see the rings of an onion. Trees are the very same, and it's easier to grind them from the side than straight up against the grain. I should take one apart one day, just pull a stump out and cut it down the middle, and just take a picture of the rings and show how it's different at different angles. In some cases, it's actually easier to grind one side of the stump and then go around to the other side of the stump and grind it again because of the way the rings and the roots are going. So I said that one is like a leg. So the rings would be around the leg in layers, just like in the main part of the stump, they're in the rings going straight down. I really should have some sort of visual on that. We'll have to work on that. But again, I got as close as I can. If you don't have a remote control machine, I wouldn't recommend even trying to do this because most of the time you're not standing absolutely, to the right angle of the cut, and you can't see how close you are. The very first machine that I had was not remote, and I remember thinking to myself, there's a lot of times that I could get in trouble. I think I snagged a couple chain link fences, and trust me, it's no fun to fix the fence, and it's no fun to get the chain link out of your machine. So live and learn. These are the last few cuts. I do remember hitting some cement here. Again, there's a pad that the machine is sitting on right now. Damage is pretty much done to the cutter teeth. Once you hit it, it's spinning at probably 60, 70 miles an hour. All you hear is just the teeth bouncing off the cement, and then you look down, you see scraped cement, uh, or asphalt or bricks, whatever's down there. I'm not sure what's worse, running into debris or finding somebody's lost foundation. I've been in people's backyards, and apparently at some point in time it was a junkyard, and I found Model A parts and old clutches and all kinds of stuff, just just an inch down, and it really complicated the job. This one, fortunately, we didn't hit any gas line. I'm only having to go down about 8 inches here, and I can't imagine too many places ever putting gas line less than 12 inches down, even back in the day. So there's no cleanup here. There's just no way. I don't have the ability to push that stuff back in a hole, haul it off. I told him that to begin with, so everything was good. All right, that's the last. Pretty much the only thing left to do is to load the machine and get paid.